It really is a massive understatement to say the 25-26 season hasn't gone the way the Vancouver Canucks organization or its fans envisioned. Who would have thought Quinn Hughes would be gone before the end of the year, Kiefer Sherwood gone not long after, and the Canucks at rock bottom, quite literally, in the league. Remember Operation Keep Quinn? Well, that turned out to be a massive failure by this organization, and clearly it didn't work. I know it's not something that I envisioned at the start of this season, that's for sure, especially knowing this management group wanted to contend just a year ago, especially after their what is now a anomaly of a season in 23-24. We all know how that ended. In this particular video, we're going to look at just which teams could be a threat to the Canucks and their desires to get the first overall pick and their odds. We're going to break it all down right here on the line change.
Power play goal. Elias Anderson. DJ Miller scores.
Works it free from Anderson. Got it to Messer in front. Backhander scores. The puck back in. Campoli trying to clear it. Burrow just pressed. Cross the puck loose to Edwards. Back in for Alex Burrow. Gets up in the air. Now McKinnon to the side. With the left glove. Are you kidding me? What a save.
Hey, Canucks Nation. Brandon Alston here, play-by-play for the Edmonton Canucks. You've got it locked in the line change. The Vancouver Canucks podcast.
What's up, Canuck fans? Welcome to the Line Change, a Vancouver Canucks podcast. Now, the Canucks were pushing for the playoffs 1 year, and now dead last in the NHL standings and transitioning into a full rebuild. At least that's what they keep saying we're doing, but with a hybrid form. Still waiting for some more moves to see if we really are, or if this is just a retool in disguise at this point. When it comes to a rebuild, the focus clearly changes when a team decides to, rebuild. It's no longer about the on-ice product. It's about the future. It's about securing a franchise-altering player high in the 2026 NHL draft, which seems to be where the Canucks are currently heading towards as of their position in the standings. And right now, being dead last gives the Canucks the best odds at landing the first overall pick and a shot at a guy like Gavin McKenna or Ivar Stenberg, two players who I know this fan base would absolutely love to have on this team. But there's a quarter of the season left and a critical trade deadline before those lottery balls drop. Things will change. So the question that we're asking is, who are the most threatening teams to challenge the Canucks for the best odds at first overall? Let's quickly look at the standings as of yesterday, which would be February 7th. So let me just bring this up for you guys here. As you guys can see, Canucks, as we mentioned, dead last with 42 points. St. Louis Blues ahead of them with 49, followed by the New York Rangers at 50, Calgary Flames with 52, Winnipeg Jets with 52, Chicago Blackhawks with 53, New Jersey Devils with 58, also the San Jose Sharks with 58, Nashville Predators with 59, the LA Kings with 60 points, tied with the Philadelphia Flyers also with 60, the Ottawa Senators with 61, Florida Panthers with 61, the Washington Capitals with 63, tied with the Maple Leafs who also have 63, and then you have the Anaheim Ducks who are also tied with 63. There are 15 teams out of a playoff spot where we can comfortably eliminate 10 of them right away. So let's get back to here. In the East, teams like the Maple Leafs, Capitals, Senators, and Panthers are simply too close to the final wildcard spot. They're actively pushing for the playoffs and are not contenders for the bottom of the league. So, however, in the West, teams like the Kings, Sharks, and Predators are in a similar boat, just 5 points out. The Blackhawks and Jets also won't be actively making their teams worse, down the stretch. That leaves us with just 6 teams that are even in this conversation: the Flyers, Devils, Flames, Rangers, Blues, and the Vancouver Canucks. But look at the point totals. As we just mentioned, the Flyers, 60 points. Devils, 58 points. The Canucks, 42 points. The Flyers and Devils have built a massive lead, 18 and 16 points respectively, ahead of the Vancouver Canucks. They would need to lose almost every game the rest of the way just to tie the Canucks, and that is simply not going to happen. So we've narrowed it down to the final 3 threats, ranked in order from most to least threatening to the Canucks' position. We have the Flames, the Blues, and the New York Rangers. So let's first look at the Calgary Flames, who are the most threatening to the Vancouver Canucks. The Flames currently have a 10-point lead cushion over the Canucks and a massive 7 more regulation wins than the Vancouver Canucks. They've already made their big move, shipping Rasmus Andersson out. Their pending UFAs, who are Lomberg and Bean, aren't the difference makers that will sink them far enough. The real concern is if they move on from a pair of forwards with term like Kadri or Blake Coleman. Kadri has welcomed a trade, and Coleman is widely believed to be moving and likely to be moved at the deadline. A midseason Kadri move could make them a serious threat. So if they were to lose Kadri or send Kadri off, they could very well steal the first overall pick from the Canucks and move down towards the bottom. But with the double-digit cushion, a lot would still have to break the Canucks' way for them to catch Calgary. Let's take a look at number 2, St. Louis Blues. The Blues are the closest to the Canucks in the standings, only 7 points ahead with 7 more regulation wins. They're the team to watch before the deadline, as their GM, Doug Armstrong, has everyone reportedly available, from Robert Thomas to Jordan Kyrou, someone whom we've talked about on this channel. But the reported asking prices are through the roof. It feels like a lot of noise with very little action. We've also been down this road before with Kyrou. If the Blues hold on to their guys, they will only get better, especially if Thomas and Dylan Holloway, or rather, especially with both Thomas and Holloway due back from injury. If no major trades materialize, I expect St. Louis to climb, not fall in the standings. Number 3, we have the New York Rangers. Rangers are a serious contender for the bottom, and luckily for the Canucks, they're not getting much worse than they are now. They're 8 points ahead of Vancouver, but they've already made 2 huge moves. Well, one real huge move, and one, I would say, semi or minor move. The first being both healthy scratching Artemi Panarin and then trading him to the LA Kings. They also traded Carson Soucy to the New York Islanders. I would classify that one as not a major move, but obviously the Panarin one is their big move that they made. The sample size is immediate. They've lost all 3 games since they traded those 2 players. The positive for the Canucks is that the Rangers don't have much else to move. Their remaining potential deadline pieces have term, so there's really little urgency for them to move said potential deadline pieces. More importantly, they have their Norris-winning defenseman Adam Fox and their Vezina-winning netminder Igor Shesterkin returning after the Olympic break, which will likely give them a big boost. The Canucks don't have that luxury, having already traded Quinn Hughes, as we mentioned. Not to mention, the Canucks have shut down Thatcher Demko for the season, so they're relying on Kevin Lankinen and a combination of Nikita Tolopilo and possibly Yuri Patera. Plus, the Rangers play in the tougher Eastern Conference, which will put them through a harder level of competition down the stretch. So, in conclusion, the Canucks are comfortably in the driver's seat for the best odds at first overall. The sizable gap between the next worst team, combined with Vancouver's commitment to further selling at the deadline, give them a strong edge over the Flames, the Blues, and the Rangers. But let's pump the brakes. let's not forget and keep this in mind as well. That doesn't guarantee that the Canucks will get the first overall pick and get to have their choice of either McKenna or Stenberg before anyone else. In fact, the Canucks' most likely pick, if they do finish dead last, is to pick third overall. Something that a lot of Canucks fans are starting to talk about and perhaps maybe come to terms with, which is at 56.6%, while first overall is a 23.6%. So still decent, but obviously quite the gap between the odds for the third overall pick and the first overall pick. And second is 19.8%, which is the lowest of the three. The race for the best odds will only intensify over the final 25 games as these teams start focusing on future years, as well as the draft. I'd like to thank my main and primary sponsor of this video, none other than DraftKings, which is a official sports betting partner of the NHL. But for today, it's an official sports betting partner of the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 60 deserves a sportsbook that's built for the moment. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. Anything can happen during the Super Bowl, and DraftKings has your back with early exit. If your player goes down in the first half, you still get paid in cash when your bet settles. No bonus bets, no waiting. While other sportsbooks don't offer injury protection, DraftKings covers the entire first half, even the second quarter. An early exit works on live bets too, pregame or in-game. DraftKings has you covered. Super Bowl 60, a rematch from Super Bowl 49 between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. Seahawks pass rush versus the Patriots offensive line. Seattle's front, Leonard Williams, DeMarcus Lawrence, Boy May look to pressure Pats QB Drake May, challenging a potentially weaker Patriots O-line. Are you new to DraftKings? New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. For Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario, restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which will expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. This is a limited time offer. This video has been a presentation of DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours, as well as the Hockey Podcast Network. Be sure to check out the network for your favorite podcast covering your favorite team at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com, the home of hockey podcasts, where it's every team, everywhere. Now, what do you guys think? Who do you believe is the most threatening team to the Canucks for the best odds at selecting first overall? Let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this breakdown of who the most threatening team to the Canucks and their odds on selecting first overall in this year's draft. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the Line Change, and be sure to have your notifications turned on so you don't miss more in-depth analysis on the Vancouver Canucks. Also, want to give a shout out and thank you to anyone who has purchased some merchandise from our official merchandise store. Once again, we're selling our 1-year anniversary collection. It is available now. We do have some sales going on, so definitely check those sales out. Also, if you want to have more in-depth conversations and discussions, such as like this one, join our official Discord. There's a link to it in the description down below. It is completely free to join, so do so if you are looking for more conversations and discussions such as this one. You can find and interact with us on social media. We're everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, even Blue Sky. Feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. Speaking of platforms, if you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcast. On Spotify, feel free to give us a rate and review. Feel free to, also, if you give us a rate and review, it obviously greatly helps out the podcast. And of course, we are very appreciative of it as well. Also, if you have a favorite episode that you just couldn't get enough of and want to listen to over and over again, you can download your favorite episode as well. That too also really helps out the podcast. And of course, we are greatly appreciative of that as well. So once again, drop your comments down below. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next line change.